In the quiet suburban town of Strongsville, Ohio, a tragedy unfolded that would leave a lasting mark on the community and spark a national conversation. Mackenzie Shirilla, a seemingly ordinary 18-year-old, found herself at the center of a harrowing investigation after a car crash claimed the lives of two young men. Was it a tragic accident or something more sinister? This is the story of Mackenzie Shirilla, a tale of love, loss, and the search for justice. Mackenzie Shirilla was just 18 years old, freshly graduated from Strongsville High School. Described by friends and family as a kind-hearted and creative soul, she had a love for art and planned to pursue a career in fashion design. Her future seemed bright, with supportive parents and a close-knit group of friends. But Mackenzie's life took a darker turn when she began dating Dominic Russo, a 20-year-old known for his charismatic yet rebellious nature. Dominic was a popular figure in their social circles, often seen as the life of the party, but his personality came with a wild side. Despite their differences, the two shared a deep bond, often seen together at local hangouts and events. Davian Flanagan, 19, was Dominic's best friend. A gentle giant with a big heart, Davian was loved by everyone who knew him. He had a passion for cars and dreamed of becoming a mechanic. His future was full of promise, but it was tragically cut short.
Now we can start remembering Davian in the other ways, in the ways that we want to remember him. That night, that day, that was just one little sliver of our son's life.
His family has started the scholarship to help others go to barber school to keep the dream going.
He would be honored.
He would be absolutely honored.
Yeah, he would love this.
It was always on his heart to just give love to people. So the fact that we're doing a scholarship in his honor and helping people further themselves in life, he would be so blown away by that. Yeah. He would love it.
July 31st, 2022 started like any other summer day. Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davian spent the day together, enjoying each other's company. But as the sun began to set, something changed. The three of them got into Mackenzie's car, heading down Progress Drive, a stretch of road that would soon become the site of a nightmare. Witnesses later reported seeing the car speeding down the road, with no signs of slowing down. Then, in a split second, the car veered off course, crashing into a brick wall. The impact was catastrophic. Dominic and Davian were killed instantly, while Mackenzie survived with severe injuries.
Hi, Mackenzie. Step out for me. I'm Detective Jesus. I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay? Nobody's gonna ask you any questions. Nobody's gonna bother you. Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it.
Do you want my purse? Actually, he took her out of the car and we did not.
Okay.
Do you have anything I need? Anything like that?
We're in pockets, but there's just
Okay. We're gonna watch your head going in. It's gone. It can hurt you. You okay?
As investigators arrived at the scene, questions began to arise. Why did the car suddenly accelerate? Why were there no skid marks, no attempt to brake? The initial theory was a tragic accident, but soon the narrative would shift. As Mackenzie recovered in the hospital, investigators dug deeper into the events leading up to the crash. They examined CCTV footage from nearby businesses, which showed Mackenzie's car speeding down Progress Drive moments before the crash. The footage revealed no signs of braking, an ominous detail that suggested something more than just a loss of control.
Tonight, the video of the crash. First, you can see the car making a normal right-hand turn here. Okay, everything's normal. Then inside the car, she decides she is going to end everyone's life. Let's watch. She did that on purpose. She survived.
The police began interviewing those closest to Mackenzie, Dominic, and Davian. Friends and family painted a picture of a close-knit trio, but there were whispers of tension between Mackenzie and Dominic. Some speculated that the couple had been arguing before the crash, but these claims were unconfirmed.
Understand, you're not under arrest.
Yeah.
You walk out anytime you want. We have approximately 10 questions that we wanted to ask you.
I was hurt.
A bunch of people who had access to Life 360
there was like
sent us screenshots saying, look how fast they went. We had no idea at the time.
Yeah, there was probably like 14 people in our Life 360 because we're all super close, so it was probably...
And they all saw that speed down the road.
Some speculated that Mackenzie might have been under the influence of drugs, leading to the reckless driving and tragic outcome. This theory gained traction in the community, with many believing that drugs could explain the sudden, erratic behavior.
I'm not even cool. I'm just one of those girls that can do a lot of drugs and not die.
Forensic experts analyzed the car, searching for any mechanical failures that could explain the sudden acceleration. But the car was in perfect working order. The toxicology report for Mackenzie came back clean. No drugs or alcohol were involved. The evidence pointed to one conclusion. This was no ordinary accident.
When it comes to justice being fair, these are people who genuinely have devoted their lives to making sure that the process is as fair as possible. It's because we have young people involved here, and there is substance abuse involved here, and it's a curious coincidence that Ohio is on the precipice of deciding whether legalized recreational use of marijuana.
As the investigation continued, the police had a tough decision to make. Should Mackenzie Shirilla be charged with a crime? The evidence was compelling, but the idea of charging an 18-year-old with homicide was a heavy burden. Ultimately, the decision was made to move forward with charges, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state has provided full disclosure of discovery. I have received an offer from the defense, and my supervisors marked this file. The state's proposed resolution to the case would be for the defendant to plead guilty to counts 3, 4, and 11 as charged. Counts 3 and 4 are both titled murder. They are murder B under 2903.02B. Count 11 is drug possession of felony of the 5th degree under 2925.11A. It's my understanding the defense is not interested in a plea at this time, and we are set for trial August 7th.
Mr. McDonald?
That's correct, Your Honor. I went on Monday and discussed this at great length with Mackenzie. The week before that with her parents present, talked with her today, and it's her desire that she does not want to have her plead to 2 counts of murder.
And Mackenzie, are you satisfied with the lawyer so far? You can say so. Yes, Your Honor. Anything that we have to discuss? This trial's coming up soon. Any issues? Any discovery problems? Anything we need to talk about?
From my position, Your Honor, no. We've turned over everything. I gave Mr. McDonald a few items today, but we'll be ready to go forward on the 7th.
Mr. McDonald, anything on your end that you need?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll see you later, okay? Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jim. Joyce, thank you. That's it. That's it. Pleasure. Let's go.
The trial of Mackenzie Shirilla captivated the nation. The courtroom was packed with media, family members, and curious onlookers, all eager to see how this tragic case would unfold. On one side, the prosecution argued that Mackenzie's actions were reckless, that she deliberately accelerated the car, knowing full well the potential consequences. On the other side, The defense maintained that it was a tragic accident, a momentary lapse in judgment that had devastating results. Witnesses took the stand, including friends, family members, and experts. The prosecution presented the CCTV footage as evidence, showing the car speeding with no attempt to stop. They also highlighted the lack of any mechanical failure, arguing that Mackenzie had full control of the vehicle.
I am the mother of the victim, Davion Flanagan. My son, Davion, is and always will be so much more than cargo. He was precious. He was an amazing soul with a heart of gold. He gave to the world what he wanted most in his own life: love. The kind of love that would rescue a friend in the middle of the night, no questions asked. The kind that would protect others and honor them.
I'm Christine Russo. I'm Dominic's mother. No one wanted this to be a murder or to punish Mackenzie Shirilla for this accident. But this was not a car accident. The evidence and science proved that Mackenzie Shirilla murdered my son, Dominic, as well as Davion. There's no fix put in this case, as the Shirillas would like to proclaim. I want to thank Strongsville Police Department and the state of Ohio for seeking the truth behind this crash.
But the defense fought back, painting Mackenzie as a young woman who had made a terrible mistake. They emphasized her clean record, her plans for the future, and the deep remorse she felt for the loss of her friends. They argued that there was no motive, no reason for Mackenzie to intentionally crash the car.
What was the other thing?
I'm hearing an awful lot about your daughter. I'm not hearing very much about you.
Dominic, okay, I'm asking you for leniency because this was a tragic accident that she does not remember. And Davion, he's a new friend. And I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? His life is worthless?
No. God, no, not at all. They all loved each other. They all spent every day together. You know what I mean? I don't know too much for him.
Isn't that part of the problem, Mrs. Shirilla?
Sorry?
Isn't that part of the problem, that they all trusted each other? Isn't that part of...
It's not a problem at all. It was wonderful.
It's a problem how they all ended up in the car together and two of them ended up dead.
I understand what it looks like. I'm saying that it was a tragic accident. She would never.
But we're going to have to disagree on that.
I understand.
Right. And I respect your position, but you disagree with me.
I understand. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to address those. We told her to go to those things, and then she did go with Dom's family. So look at that. Don't look at it with the... Look on that with different eyes if you can, please.
Those things are not relevant.
Not at all. But she's a good. If you would have a moment, all you would need is 5 minutes of a conversation to have with her to learn who she is. Just that, you would just need 5 minutes to learn who she is and what she's capable of not doing and doing, and you would see for yourself. That's all. I'm so sorry, guys.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Throughout the trial, Mackenzie remained composed, but emotional. When she took the stand, she expressed deep sorrow and regret for what had happened. She insisted that she never intended to harm Dominic and Davion, that she loved them both, and that she would give anything to change what happened that night. As the trial drew to a close, both sides presented their final arguments. The jury was left with the daunting task of determining whether Mackenzie Shirilla was guilty of vehicular homicide or whether this was indeed a tragic accident.
We're really never going to know what happened in that car, much less prove by evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that she purposely drove that car. Purposely. It has to be established that at the time in question, there was present in the mind of Mackenzie a specific intent to cause the death of her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and her friend, Davion Flanagan.
She controlled that car the whole way. She wants us to think she drove the length of Progress Avenue asleep at the wheel. That she drove down that road that yourself drove down, Your Honor, and that somehow that car magically steered itself into that wall. Her foot was on the pedal the entire way.
After days of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Mackenzie Shirilla was found guilty of 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide. The courtroom was filled with a mix of emotions: relief, sorrow, and disbelief. Mackenzie was sentenced to years in prison, her once bright future now forever altered.
Actions were controlled, methodical, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. This was not reckless driving. This was murder. The court renders the following verdicts. Count 1. The court, having had count 1 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit, Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02a, is charged in count 1. Count 2. The court, having had count 2 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit, Davion Flanagan, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02a, is charged in count 2 of the indictment. Count 3, murder. The court, having had count 3 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit, Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02b, as charged in count 3. Count 4, murder. The court, having had count 4 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of murder, to wit, Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.02b, is charged in count 4. Count 5, felonious assault. The court, having had count 5 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of felonious assault, to wit, Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11 of the Revised Code, is charged in count 5 of the indictment. Count 6, felonious assault. The court, having had count 6 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of felonious assault, to wit, Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11a2, is charged in count 6. Count 7, felonious assault. The court, having had count 7 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of felonious assault, to wit, Davion Flanagan, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11a1, as charged in count 7. Count 8, felonious assault. The court, having had count 8 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of felonious assault, to wit, Davion Flanagan, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11a2, as charged in count 8. Count 9, aggravated vehicular homicide. The court, having had count 9 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of aggravated vehicular homicide, to wit, Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.06a2a, is charged in count 9. Count 10, aggravated vehicular homicide. The court, having had count 10 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of aggravated vehicular homicide, to wit, Davion Flanagan, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.06a2a, is charged in count 10. Count 11, drug possession. The court, having had count 11 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of drug possession in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2925.11a, as charged in count 11. Count 12, possessing criminal tools. The court, having had count 12 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of possessing criminal tools in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2923.24a, is charged in count 12. The court, having had count 12 tried to and pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Shirilla, guilty of possessing criminal tools, and further finds the defendant did intend to use a substance, device, instrument, or article, to wit, a digital scale, to commit the offense of a felony. Sentencing will be 1 week from today, August 21st at 1 p.m. If any party wishes to file a sentencing memorandum, it is to be filed by 4 p.m. on Thursday, August 17th. Thank you.
For the families of Dominic and Davian, the verdict brought a sense of closure, but the pain of their loss remained. Mackenzie's family was devastated, struggling to come to terms with the outcome. The case had divided the community, with some believing justice was served, while others questioned whether Mackenzie deserved such a harsh sentence. As the trial came to an end, Mackenzie was given one last chance to speak. With tears in her eyes, she addressed the court, expressing her deep remorse and sorrow for what had happened. Her voice, filled with emotion, echoed through the courtroom. Her words left a lasting impression, a poignant reminder of the human cost of that fateful night. But despite her apology, the reality remained. 2 young lives were lost, and Mackenzie would have to live with the consequences of that night for the rest of her life. The families of Dominic and Davian continue to honor their memories, while Mackenzie's family works to support her as she serves her sentence. The case remains a stark reminder of how quickly life can change, and how the decisions we make in a split second can have lifelong consequences. As we look back on the tragic case of Mackenzie Shirilla, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the importance of making responsible choices. This case serves as a cautionary tale for all of us, especially young people, about the potential consequences of our actions. Thank you for joining us in exploring this complex and tragic case. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more true crime stories that delve deep into the human experience. Remember, every decision we make has the power to change lives, so choose wisely and stay safe.